everyone. My name is Pam Nakpil, and this is The Moving Truth with Pam. So for today, I have, he's not single, but today he is because his wife is a little on the shy side. So without giving up too much, please introduce yourself, Mark.
Hi, thank you, Ate Pam. I'm Mark Tamula. I've been here in Moncton since September 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yes.
2021.
Turning 3 years this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, that's fast.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm married. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and yeah, we recently got our permanent residence confirmation last August after 2 years.
Yay. So that's fantastic
Yeah.
news. Okay, so my first question is always,
Mhm.
what were you doing back home? And why suddenly you wanted to go to Canada? Like, what were you involved with back
Uh,
home?
well, I have to give credit to my wife who's not here. But yeah, I used to work for an automotive company. I was at the mid-management level. My wife wanted to move to Canada just for number one would have to be for our daughter. It had something to do with how we wanted the brighter future for her. Another thing was we wanted to improve our quality of life. As you know, like Manila has really, really, really bad traffic. Moncton is the opposite. Everything's like 5-10 minutes away. So yeah, that was like one of our driving factors moving here to Canada. So we had to like leave our careers and start a brand new life.
So because Chris can't speak for herself, what
Yeah.
was Chris doing back home? I mean,
Well,
what was her career?
She was also at like the management level already. Our careers were already like really, really good during that time. She worked for one of the largest school networks in the
Okay.
Philippines. So she also handled like the biggest campus. So
Okay.
naturally she was in that management level of the organization during that time. Yeah.
I know traffic and having a good life for your
Yeah.
daughter was or the major factors.
Yeah.
But like, how did it feel like knowing you're here from
Mhm.
your country of origin, which is the Philippines,
Yeah.
and then moving to another place that you have to start again? So wasn't it a scary thing for you guys to do that?
Well, yeah, that was the biggest challenge. Honestly speaking, I didn't want to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It was more it's really for my family. That's why you always need to have a big why. Like, why do you want to go? So yeah, it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of convincing from my wife to move. Leave everything behind and start a new life. Yeah.
So Chris was the driving factor.
She
in
was the
move.
driving
Okay.
factor. She's always been the anchor right now. Whenever I just start to drift away, she's like the anchor.
She's the one who
Yeah.
holds it strong.
Holds it all together.
So what was the pathway you took to come here? What did you have to prepare for using this pathway?
Well, we had to go through the student pathway.
Wow.
Yeah, student pathway is like you need to have a lot of how do you say that? Proof of funds.
Wow.
Aside from the proof of funds, you have to pay for the tuition, of course.
Wow.
And when you are an international student, you pay like 5 times more than a local student. So
5 times more.
more or less like something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, 5,000 per term, I think, during
Wow.
when we started. So yeah, we had some savings. We had a lot of financial aid, most especially from our family, parents. We were lucky that we had a good support system as well. Yeah.
Did they agree to you? I mean, you know how families are about, don't do this anymore. You're okay with, was
Yeah.
family very supportive in your move?
Well, that's what I was. That's where I'm lucky. My family, my parents were really, really supportive about us. It was really all about their granddaughter, of course, the future
Yeah.
of their granddaughter. during that time, my daughter was their only granddaughter,
Grandchild.
so
Oh, wow.
they were sad. But when they come to think of it, it's as if they're part of the future of their granddaughter. So
So,
they were really supportive. Yeah.
okay.
So
So how hard was it to prepare to be a student? Who was a student, by the way? Was it you or was it Chris?
Chris, my wife,
Okay.
Chris was the student. It was like double the difficulty because when we were moving, it was at the height of the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't have
You
any
moved
send-off parties. Nobody can
That
like,
was the
say
hard
goodbye.
part.
No,
Send off parties.
no send-off parties, no welcome party here. So we were all by ourselves when we arrived. We had to quarantine for 3 days in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Because that's where you landed.
yeah, where we landed, and then we had to quarantine for another 2 weeks in our apartment.
Mhm.
We're lucky that we met friends who helped us in the move. They prepared everything for us, set us up with the basic needs during that
Okay.
time. So yeah, it was.
Did you have to look for these friends or because some people like when we moved here, we didn't know anyone except our agent. But like how did the process of you trying were able to find someone to be able to help you?
It was
Go about.
really, how should I say, serendipitous.
Really?
Yeah, my cousin who was close to me, she was just browsing Facebook. She found someone, an acquaintance from like 20 years ago.
Wow,
They used
20.
to go to high school
Did they
together.
still know each other?
I have no idea, but she saw someone like a long friend in Moncton.
Wow, in
He
Moncton
posted that
specifically.
particular friend posted that they're already 2 years in Moncton, and then yeah, she reached out to him, and then my cousin is coming into Moncton, and then she connected us.
Wow.
Connected.
You're right.
Really,
That's serendipity at
yeah,
work.
that's destiny.
Okay. So when you arrived here with
Mhm.
all COVID happening,
Mhm.
how hard was it for you to start moving on, moving forward with your, well, at least new life in Canada?
Moving forward, it's really not easy because you coming from like the middle management, you don't know what to expect
For
when
work.
it comes to work. I started when we got our work permit. I started applying, sending out my resume. I was lucky that I was able to secure like a reservation job with one of the biggest hotels here.
Okay.
So that was also I think everything got pieced together
Yeah.
when you really plan it well.
Okay.
Excuse me. So yeah, it was like all over again. You you start all
Starting.
over again. You don't. It was good that I worked from home during that time. You don't have
Okay.
like that culture shock.
Being with other people.
With being with other people, but it's not easy. You have to start from the bottom, start accepting calls again, talking directly to customers again, and
But that was not your career back home. You weren't in customer service. I mean, phone.
well, I started like way back. That's
so you
that was
had
my first. Yeah, I had
experience.
experience.
Oh, that's
But I
good.
didn't want to do that anymore, right? That's why I was already in the
Somewhere else.
somewhere else, and
So how
yeah,
did it feel being back to your number one job?
number one job. Like
You're right. It was like,
it's like 2007 all over again.
yeah. So how did that feel?
Well, it felt surreal. I mean, why am I here? Why am I
Yeah.
back here again? And
Did you ever think like, let's go back?
oh no, always. I mean, but you're already here. I mean, people look forward to being here, and sometimes you always have to think that you're living the life of someone else's prayer,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. So you have to be strong. You have to think about how far you've gone. It's, you know, how far you how many things you gave up just to be
To
here,
be here.
and yeah, you have to just face it and
Move on.
move on, live it day to day.
Yeah. So I know Chris was the one studying.
Yeah.
So how is it for her? I know you're speaking for her, but I'm sure you've talked. Like, how did she feel studying again?
Mhm.
And I know, was she working as well?
Well, yeah. Of course, we had to make
Me.
ends meet, right? So she was studying. She worked 2 jobs,
Two jobs
2 jobs
while studying.
while studying and managing the house.
Wow.
Yeah, she's the cook of the house. I don't really cook. I
You
just eat.
eat.
So
I like that part.
yeah, it was really the first year was easier because most of the classes were online. Like I think the first term was easier.
Because of COVID too.
Because of COVID, it was easier because most of the classes were online. While the class was going on, she can cook. But the second year was a little bit harder because
Okay.
things started to open up. Yeah, she would wake up at 7 a.m. before everything, before just to prepare
Everything.
what we'll have for breakfast, for lunch, and then yeah, go to school.
Yeah.
Right, go to school. Then after school, she had to go to her work, and yeah, when she comes back from work, she has to do her assignments.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's the different experience, different. It's a different. How do you say that? Different.
It's different for her than you.
Yeah, it's different for her
Yeah,
than
so
me. Yeah,
it's because
it's
she's
more
studying.
challenging for her actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, how was she able to cope with it? Because, having 2 jobs, studying, it's no joke.
Mhm.
Like managing a house as well. But like, how did Chris feel about it? Did she ever think like, what am I doing here?
Well, she wanted it. She wanted it, but I've always appreciated her mindset. She always thought about this is only temporary.
Okay, temporary.
This is only temporary. I know I'm gonna this everything will be better. So yeah, while she was washing a bathroom of a fast food joint, that's what kept her going.
Wow.
This is temporary. I know things will be better. That was her mantra in life
Wow.
when we were here.
But that's hard. I mean, it's easy to say now.
Well,
because-
yeah.
But going through that, I feel
Sometimes
like,
when we talk about it, while she's saying that while she's washing the restroom, right? Said, when I was in the Philippines, I have a maintenance person who washes the bathroom. Now I'm the one
I'm
washing
doing
the
it.
bathroom. So
I know all about that. And your daughter, how did she feel about the move? Did she like it? Or was it like, why am I doing this?
Well,
Why
yeah.
are you dragging me from all I know?
my daughter was the biggest surprise.
Oh,
Yeah, she was the one who thrived in the
She did?
environment. Yeah,
Wow.
she loved it here. She loved the how the school system works here. How empowered they are.
so she blossomed.
She blossomed. I mean, she really likes being out with
Oh.
friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was she very different back home?
Well, she's always been like an introvert, but when she goes to school, it's like she always looks forward to being in school.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So-
amazing.
Making ends meet, you have a job, your wife has a job. Like, how hard was it? Was it always enough to be able to rent a place, take care of your regular expenses,
Mhm.
tuition as well?
Tuition, yeah.
Like, and then you're also applying for
Permanent
permanent
residency. Yeah, you have to save up
all
for that.
these come with a
Mhm.
cost.
Yeah.
How hard was it to manage? Were you able to manage that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're here now, so during that time, we had to make ends meet. So, like I said, Chris was working 2 jobs in the summer. So in the morning, when it was in summer, because you're allowed to work for 40 hours or more.
Okay.
So in the morning, she worked for fast food restaurant, and then in the evening, she worked at retail in one of the
Wow.
department stores. So yeah, she'd wake up at 8 and at 4 at the fast food, and then go to
Wow.
5
So
to
lots
9.
of sacrifices.
Lots of sacrifice. Me, I had to like work extra hours as well to cover like other expenses. There are a lot of sales, when there's
Yeah.
here, so you have to control yourself.
So there were a lot of give up.
Yeah, a lot of give ups.
But like,
Yeah.
how do you like? What are the advantages you see of being here? I know traffic. I know, but like, how do you compare life now versus back home?
Well, yeah, I'd say the traffic. this is the best thing that
biggest.
ever happened here. I mean, no more traffic, 15 minutes away. Being able to open up your world
Yeah.
to a whole different culture, um, it's a different experience. Chris and I always had this saying that travel or exploring is the only expense that makes you richer. And I believe it opened up a whole new world for us. Canada is like near the U.S. Who would have imagined that you can just drive to the U.S.
I
like
know,
6 hours away?
I know.
We've been there for like
Several times.
several times,
Wow.
2-3 times already.
But before, back home,
Before
you'd have
it's
to
like,
travel home. and
U.S.
it's
You have to
expensive.
United States. Now U.S. is like next door.
Okay, going back, I like what you said about being opening up yourself to a new world.
Mhm.
But like, has there ever been a time that you felt like you weren't welcome? Was there ever a time you or Chris felt like you did not fit?
Oh, well, you'd like to think that you're not welcome, but maybe it's just really about cultural differences.
Okay.
When you get to understand them and get exposed. I just recently joined another company, so
Okay.
it's my first time to like really, really be exposed to other.
Oh, because you were working from home.
Yeah, I was working from home for the longest time, for about 2 years. So it's been like just a few months when I'm working now, face to face with other people and other like local people as well. It's really more about cultural differences.
Okay.
When you're looking for what you're used to before in the Philippines, wherein it's all about being together or working
It's
together.
different now.
It's a whole lot different experience here.
So it's not necessarily being felt like feeling like you're being it's
like not welcome.
welcome, but it's more
Not
of like
really, yeah.
it's a you're right.
It's more of like a
yeah.
cultural difference. I'm not sure if it's like more of how do you say that, they're more reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More formal.
More formal.
You're right,
A little
because
bit more formal, or
that's a
they'd
new perspective
yeah,
for
sometimes
me.
they'd like to
Yeah.
keep to themselves
Okay.
rather than like,
Which
open
not
up.
necessarily they don't like you,
Not
but
they
it's
don't
more
necessarily
of
like
so
you.
you and
Mhm.
Chris never felt like Chris working in retail or in in a restaurant. Has she ever told you like somebody came in and
Oh, yeah. There will always be some maybe people who weren't really exposed to other people. They
Yeah.
feel like if you don't speak the language or something like that, they get upset. Those are like the closest thing that I experience, and that they get upset that you don't speak this certain language. Yeah.
but it's not you didn't feel like I'm gonna pack up and go.
Yeah, never,
Like,
never.
never.
I mean, most of the time, I would have to say 90% of the time, you'll always feel welcome.
Okay.
People here have always been nice and really welcoming. Most of the time, they appreciate what you're doing.
Okay.
When you talk to them about your story, they always appreciate, like,
That's nice.
yeah, they say like, I have never even like flew 4 hours away from Moncton, but you flew
Why?
like 3 days
Days.
from the Philippines to Moncton, and
I
they
know,
always
I know.
appreciate that.
That's something I hear
Just to
a
open
lot.
a brand
I
new
hear a lot.
life, right?
So now it's a different world now for people coming in as students.
Mhm.
There's a new ruling by IRCC that Chris was able to come here and
Yeah.
you were able to come here with
Yes,
an
yes.
open work
Mhm,
permit.
mhm.
Mia can study,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So it's a different ball game now.
Mhm.
Would you still recommend to people, because a new student coming in September 2024
Yeah.
will not be able to bring a spouse to
Mhm.
do an open work permit or a child to study for free?
Yes.
What advice would you give? Like, would you still suggest to people do it?
Right now, if you really want it enough,
Still?
s- in that way, yeah. If you really want it enough, you have to. You really need to do it. But there are other pathways, like AIP still has
Yeah.
AIP still offers like direct permanent residence, especially if,
For certain
for certain
in certain
occupations. Yeah.
companies.
As far as I know, masteral courses are
Masteral
still covered.
courses,
So
yeah.
if you really want to, go for the masteral courses.
There's a way.
Yeah, there's still a way. Sometimes it really depends on what you want, on your dreams, and on your priorities. When we were going towards the student pathway, Chris was always, no, I'm still gonna be a student. I'm gonna learn. I'm still gonna have that drive to study because I'm also interested.
So it's not about just getting a student permit
Just
to be
get
able
inside.
to move.
Yes, it's always
Okay,
about priorities,
okay.
you know. So yeah, that's what drove Chris as well to go through the student pathway, because it was also like a sincere way of letting them know that I also want to study.
So it's
and
not a
learn
means
the-
to an end.
No,
It's
yeah, exactly.
also
Yeah,
something she wanted to do.
it's also what
I
she
think
wanted to
that's
do.
very different because I
Mhm.
hear some people, they just want to be a student for the sake of being a student
Yeah.
and getting permanent residency and getting all
Yeah,
of that.
that's also the reason why she was able to survive that period, because she also wanted to learn. She was really interested in her classes. She wanted to be excellent in everything that she does. And
Wow.
yeah, I'm proud to say that she also graduated with honors. Yeah.
Wow, what a drive
Yeah.
she has. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like some people I hear, they were just going to school just for the end result or
Yeah.
for the expectation to be here in Canada. But that was a different
Mhm.
thing.
That was a different thing for her. But if you do that, it's not gonna be easy. You're not gonna help yourself. Yeah.
So it's not as painful because
Not
you
as
were
painful, because
really
she really, really wanted it.
okay. Knowing what you know now,
Mm-hmm.
would you still have moved?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
yeah, I wouldn't meet a lot of wonderful persons, wonderful people in the city in Moncton. I wouldn't able to discover Canada, how beautiful it is, how beautiful Alberta is, or Banff,
Oh, you've been?
Lake
Oh,
Louise.
wow.
Not
Yeah.
yet, but I know about it.
I will go.
I will go there. I'll go
this
there.
year.
We'll go
This
there
year, I
soon.
want to go this year. Yeah. So it's opened up a new like curtain for you.
Open up the new curtain for me. How wonderful Canadians are. I've had relatives usually in the U.S., but Canada, Canada is like a whole lot different. It's a whole lot better.
I know.
Yeah, when I go to the U.S., I always say, I miss Canadians.
What advice would you give to people moving? What advice would you give them?
Well, you really need to have a big why.
Why?
You need to, why do you want to move? Why do you want to move? In our case, it was always all about our daughter. Another case was upgrading herself. Chris, for one, she also wanted to learn. Like her course was aligned with what she wanted to be.
Okay.
So that's why it made it easier for her to study, because she was interested
work.
in what she was studying. Yeah, working. Yeah, you have to always look at the end. Look at how it's gonna be after everything.
So it's that, and that I like what you said also about it being temporary.
Yes,
This situation
that's what
is
what her
temporary.
mantra was during that time. Yeah, now everything's, say, a little bit better. No more assignments. no more.
And congratulations, you're permanent resident. So that
thank you.
would be fine.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You would recommend moving to anyone?
I would recommend, if you're willing to give up everything, willing to go back to zero,
Sacrifice a bit.
People here always like people who work hard.
Yeah.
When they see that you work hard, that you're sincere in what you do, it's always the same. What you do in the Philippines and what you do here, put that same drive here, you'll go places.
You'll go
yeah.
places. Thank you, Mark. And I wish Chris was here.
Yeah.
But thank you, and I'm happy for your family.
All right, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
With that, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you at the next Moving Truth with Pam. Bye now.